All right, this is episode 39. I'm here again with P. Bush and Zoo. What's up, fellas?
What's up, Sean?
Man,
how you doing, man?
Sad week in sports, man.
It is.
Sad week in sports, man.
Very slow.
Yeah.
And then Zach LaVine got COVID.
Oh, man.
And the Bulls suck again. I don't know what happened, man.
At the hand of Wendell Carter, too, man.
Yeah, he put some work on y'all.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he didn't like that trade, obviously.
Dude, that
a little
draft
grudge.
pick we traded, man, it might be a top 5 or 6 pick right now the way they're playing right now. Oh
Yeah.
my
They're looking ugly, man.
Yeah. Y'all still 10 or y'all 11?
We still tied because the East is so bad.
Somehow, man.
I don't know how, man. The East is so bad, but oh my god, they're awful right now. They're awful. We lost the worst team in the NBA.
Yep.
And we lost to a
Timberwolves.
team that was tanking. We lost to a
Timberwolves
team
and
that
the
doesn't
Magic.
want to win, man. Oh my god.
It's insane, man.
Oh,
Like you
but
said, I think – go ahead.
I was going to say, but on a high note, dude, Luka Doncic's game winner last night was pretty nasty, though. That little
Yeah.
floater leaning in.
floater three, man.
Oh, my
I love it.
God. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the
Luka
Giants
Magic,
still taking,
baby.
man. He's still taking care of business, man. But damn, the Chicago Bulls.
Rough, man.
I think you guys, like you say, I don't know how long did you say LaVine was going to be out?
Multiple
He said a
games.
couple games.
Yeah, a
Hold on.
couple games. So that could be
Yeah.
a week or two.
Just tread water. Like you say, even if you get back like a game to 11 seed, like I guess it probably Washington, maybe you guys will catch them. So I think it'll be time for you guys again. And like you say, if you get in the play-in, you never know, man. You guys could sneak in and make
Yeah,
some
you got to
noise,
win
so.
2 games, man. Only
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
games. Anyone
Only
can get
2.
lucky twice, man. Anyone can
Yeah,
get lucky.
and Levine is the type of player who can get hot. So
I agree.
That's a good feather in you guys' cap. But switching gears and getting to the NFL, like I said, me and P. Bush was talking earlier. It's been kind of a slow news week, but one of the really big topics, which personally I don't understand why it's a huge topic, but I guess it shows the fan base of the Patriots because they've been winning so much. So I guess it was able to get to the big news cycle. But a lot of talk around Julian Edelman being a Hall of Famer. He recently retired, which I'm not sure because I don't know if you guys saw the tweet. I don't know if it's a tweet, but Gronk was saying there's a 69% chance, which I think that was a play on words trying to be funny.
Of course.
But, it's Gronk. But he says it's a chance that, Edelman might make it with the Bucs. So we got to look to see if that's going to happen. But I'm going to ask the guys, what do they think about Julian Edelman and his Hall of Fame chances? Do they think he's a Hall of Fame player? Do they think he, was just a good player that played for a great team? This conversation can go many different directions. And Zoo, I'm going to start with you, man. What do you think?
Big fat 0%, baby. Julian
agree.
Edelman, man. Regular season, Julian Edelman. The man got 34 yards one season, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
34 yards. Are you kidding me? And the dude played 13 games. 13 games. I don't even know what the yards per game for that, but oh my Lord. That means irrelevant player, man. He had 3,000 yard season, and that's what I would classify as Hall of Fame type season. If you're a consistent 1,000-yard receiver, he did it 3 times, man. This guy was a product of the system. We only know his name. Tom Brady liked the dude. Like, they were buddies, man. He was his favorite target the last couple of years, especially Tom Brady without weapons, man. He just given it to big old Julian Edelman. Gets a little 8-yard pass to get the reception. It was a PPR cheat code, man, but never got you real long yards, man. This guy's talent, nothing impressive, man. Especially the number of Hall of Famers, wide receivers. Like, it took T.O. how many years to get in the NFL Hall of Fame? That dude's talent was on another level. And you think Julian Edelman? And they put this dude in, man. I'm sorry, man. I think that's embarrassing for the Hall of Fame, man, because the guy's numbers is just pretty pathetic, man. His highest TD is 7 touchdowns, man. He's got years with donuts for touchdowns. The guy played 15 games one year, had 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. Are you kidding me, man? Dude, the Hall of Famer. Antonio Brown's a Hall of Famer, regardless of all the crazy stuff he does off the field. The guy's a Hall of Famer. The guy comes back in the league, man, gets touchdowns the first day he comes back, man.
Wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, won a Super Bowl. Caught some touchdown passes in the Super Bowl, man. Like, Julian Edelman, man, silly dude, man. Like, he ain't a Hall of Famer.
No. Yeah, I mean, you could tell this is a slow ass week in sports, man. That this is the biggest thing, and it's just toxic all everywhere. Everyone's trying to write a clickbait piece on whether or not he's a Hall of Famer, comparing him to how Hines Ward and other Terrell Owens, how long it took him to get into the to the Hall of Fame, but man, Wes Welker is a better player than Julian Edelman by far. Wes Welker has a better chance of being in the Hall of Fame, I think, than Julian Edelman does. The only reason that you could argue Julian Edelman is that he had arguably one of the biggest catches in Super Bowl history against the Falcons, and that was pure luck with a bit of concentration, man. And look, he was 5'10". He was a tough guy. I'll give him that. He was always a very physical receiver for his size, comparatively to Wes Welker. Welker was always kind of just, he knew exactly which route to run, and he'd just be wide open. But Zoo, to your point of, man, those first couple seasons, man, he had in his first 4 years with the Patriots, 700 total receiving yards and 4 touchdowns over his first 4 seasons, man. That in and of itself, I know there's some people that are late bloomers, man, but that's pathetic, and that alone does not grant him access to the Hall of Fame. He's obviously not a first ballot. I think everybody can agree on that. It's whether or not he'd sneak in. And to be honest, Zoo, across like Hall of Fames now, it depends on what they consider a Hall of Fame. Do they consider being part of a great team and, adding value to that? Do they care about stats? Because he obviously does not have the stats to back that up. Like you said, Zoo, 7 touchdowns in a season is his best. I mean, that's bad. I think his highest yards total was what, like a little under 1,100?
Yeah,
1,200 yards, something like that. And I think that year he caught over 100 passes, but with his 8-yard routes all the time, that's really not that surprising. He's pretty much a Walmart Michael Thomas, man. That's really what he is at the end of the day. He's not really going to be doing that much if he were to join another team. The only reason he would join is if he went down to Tampa, but I don't even think they have enough wide receiver positions open right now for measly Julian Edelman. So it's a slow ass week, man, for sports. And the fact that this was the number one trending topic was a little funny to me. But man, those Patriots fans love to get everybody riled up.
They do.
So
they do.
What are you going to do, man? He's not a Hall of Famer in my book. Even outside of first ballot, he's not going to make it.
Man, Julian Edelman is closer to Danny Amendola than to Hall of Fame receivers.
100%.
Like, they're in the same tier. Like, you got Hall of Fame, you got Julian Edelman down here. Like, come on now. Come on. Disrespectful to Hall of Fame receivers. It's disrespectful.
I mean, I don't understand all the hate for him. I don't think that's. I mean, he did have big plays for the Patriots. I mean, he's a 3-time Super Bowl champ. But the Hall of Fame nod is just laughable. So I think people are being a little too harsh on him. Unless he were to join Tampa, then that's all allowed. You can hate on him all you want because he's just ring chasing for that 4th, man.
Yeah.
So it's just been brutal.
I think what's operating here is 2 things. I think it's the Brady effect because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. So I think the effect of playing with the quarterback so great like Brady, it gives people like, well, he was throwing to, all these receivers and he was doing all this stuff. It's just the residual effect, I guess. And 2, he was a baller in the postseason. So I feel like because the Patriots were always there and he was always making clutch catches and doing all that type of stuff, people are just overinflating what he actually was. Like I said, I think I saw Hines Ward. If we're going to put him in, we got to put him in. Chad Johnson. If we're going to put him in, we got to put him in. Like, there's a lot of receivers that can go before Wes Welker. And like I say, it will be interesting because I think they say if he does stay retired, it'll be like 2025, 2026 when he can, I guess, officially go on the ballot. If he gets voted in at any point, I don't until the day I die. If he gets voted in on any point, if there's a way we can contest that, I'm doing it because I think that's just that would be more so because then it would. And this is just my brain, but it would fuel more of the theories about New England. Like I've always been and I'm not saying nothing against the Patriots dynasty or anything, but I've always been of the faction. Like if they were in, I don't know, Kansas City and running off all this stuff, they would be big, but they wouldn't be as big as they are being in New England. I feel a lot of that with ESPN, them being tied to them. I feel like all that is just a trickle down effect. And the reason why Wes Welker, I think it's maybe, but I think Deion Branch was another guy that was huge numbers in that system with Brady. We gotta, I don't know what it is. Yeah, early. So it's
he was a Super Bowl MVP in 2004, man. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was an MVP over Brady in a Super Bowl.
What was he? Was Edelman was he a MVP in?
MVP. He won a Super Bowl MVP in the Rams.
Rams. Yeah, it was 10-7. 10-7?
13,
I don't even
yeah,
think,
man.
No, the game it was like 13-10. It was the most boring Super Bowl ever, man.
Yeah, I can't. No,
That Super Bowl was. You fell asleep to it. It was so boring.
I can't. No, I can't. It's like I say. It's more of I think the Patriots and their whole mystique, Tom Brady, all that. So, not hating on the guy, but you're not a Hall of Famer. And honestly, if he were to come on, if he even came on this podcast right now, he would make his case about how great of a player he was and how it was playing with Tom Brady. But I don't think he'd be like, I'm a Hall of Famer, because I don't think he's come out and said that. So I think it's like you say, slow news week, man.
Yeah, dude, it's just people trying to rile up a story that gets them a little clickbait. I think it's just what it is. But look, I mean, I think the only argument you could make is that, I mean, he was always kind of the number 2 guy behind Gronk for a while. I mean, he was never really he was never fit to be a number 1 option. Yeah. And I don't think he really ever claimed that he was a number 1 option. He just played his part, did his job, and enjoyed playing with Tom because they were they pumped each other up. And I think that's why they got along, and that's why their system ended up working so well. But it's not like he's the one up here saying I'm the GOAT, I'm the best wide receiver ever at 5'10", man. Like that's just not who he is. So it's just kind of a bunch of fans that really don't know really what they're talking about.
No.
But at the end of the day, I think everybody can agree that he's not an easy Hall of Fame entry at all. No. Not at all. He has a slim to nil chance of getting into the Hall of Fame, and I think he knows that. But he doesn't care, man. He made his money. He won. He has a Super Bowl MVP. He's set for life, man.
Now,
especially living in Boston.
Yeah, I would. Now, his career in terms of like what he's done, if I was whatever, I would trade my career. Like if I was another receiver, maybe like, I don't know, Hines Ward, even though he has, I think, a Super Bowl. But like, I don't know, another top, I don't know, Chad Johnson probably wouldn't. But I mean, if I had the ability to switch my careers, I would take his because that's a lot of hardware.
Yeah.
And like you say, he's going to be set in Boston. And I feel like a lot of the guys who have that type of, I guess, winning mentality and all that stuff, they get jobs at all these sports networks. So, yeah, he's going to be set for a while. He's going to be set for a while.
Fine. He's got so much energy too, man. He'll be fine.
Definitely a lot of energy. So, switching topics, we want to get into the NBA. Like I said, another slow news week, even though yesterday and today kind of picked up a little bit. But, with the MVP race, it's, in a lot of people's eyes, down to these two with Jokic and Embiid. Embiid had a hell of a game last night against the Nets, even though the Nets didn't have, I guess, their full squad. But he went to work, and it showed that, like I said, I think last podcast, that could be a 7-game series, I think, if everyone's healthy. So, and Jokic has been doing it all year. So I wanted to ask the guys, who is their top 5 NBA big man of all time? Now, like I say, with this, we can include power forwards if we want to, but I wanted to ask them who they think is their top 5. This is their personal top 5. So I'm going to start with P. Bush because I feel like he has a better grasp on it. I'm really interested to see what Zoo's going to say, but P. Bush, go ahead and start us off, man. Your top 5.
Yeah, we all know Zoo's going to put Kevin Durant as a 7-footer. Let's be honest. He's smiling. You know he's
man. No, I don't consider Kevin a big. He's a wing.
Okay.
He's a wing.
That's fair. Technically, then, hey, he's got the same build as Kevin Garnett. So I don't know, man. Him and KG, man. KG and KD. But hey, all right. No particular order, Zoo. I'm just going to stipulate that right away because I feel like you might lay into me. But I'll just name the 5, and I'll say that I'll give you my top 2 of the 5, okay? But in no order to start. I'm going Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem, Tim Duncan, and Wilt Chamberlain. Those are my 5. I think that the top 2 for me are Shaq and Hakeem. I think that they're, a little newer age. I know that Zoo loves to bring up the competition level of the 60s and 70s, which is totally fair. But that's not to say that like a Wilt Chamberlain wouldn't have dominated. He's huge, man. He was a massive guy. He would clearly still have done well when Kareem was playing. I can't put Bill Russell in there, Zoo. Don't you worry. I know you would have probably had a heart attack on the podcast.
You put Bill Russell in the top 5.
Nah, I can't do that. But man, I had to give Shaq and Hakeem. I mean, they had hell of a duels back in the 90s, man. I know Shaq was always frustrated because every time he'd give Hakeem a move, man, Hakeem would just laugh it off and come back and just dream shake him to sleep, man. And it was just a great thing to watch. I mean, I still have fun watching those two guys play each other in highlights and all that. But man, don't forget about Tim Duncan, man. He's a top 5 big man of all time. The big fundamental, man. Like he revolutionized the post jumper game. I genuinely believe he did. He used the glass so perfectly. He's the quietest superstar we've ever had. I think Kawhi's kind of left that since he had a little hissy fit down in San Antonio years back. But Tim Duncan, man, he was an idol of mine. It was the first jersey that I ever had. Was a Tim Duncan jersey.
Idol?
Yeah.
What? I never heard of that before. Tim Duncan as your idol?
That's crazy. Yeah,
dude, no, not my only idol. He's one of my early idols. Dude, what do you think?
This is my idol right there, Derrick Rose, man.
Yeah, and where did his career go?
Towards ACL, and
five-time champ, three-time MVP, three-time Finals MVP, two-time MVP, 15-time All-Defensive Player, man, and he never complained. He just came in, he did his job. Now he's fighting MMA, and he's like joining the military and all that. This guy does it all, and he doesn't talk about it, and I always respected that. So, I mean, as a kid, more so respected as I got older, but. As a kid, I just thought he was so cool. I mean, the Spurs were in their heyday back then, 04, 05, man. But look, Shaq and Hakeem, I think, were the two most dominant big men of all time.
Yeah.
I think you could put Wilt in that conversation, but we have no frame of reference of him playing against either of those two guys, or even really Kareem. So the only competition he really had was Bill Russell, and we all know that, Zoo. Bill Russell actually kind of got the best of him.
Bill Russell was 6'9".
Yeah. Hey, Charles Barkley was 6'6", and he's in my honorable mentions, man. So it doesn't matter about size necessarily, but look, I mean, you got to put Kareem in there. I think we can all agree. Best scorer of all time, or one of. He has the most unstoppable shot.
Yeah.
The only
if you have an unstoppable shot, you're in there.
Oh my Lord!
Exactly.
Unstoppable shot. Do you know what would have stopped him? You have to feed him in the post. The problem with the post, it relies on a good guard to feed you in the post.
Not really.
And after watching the Bulls play basketball, they have a hard time feeding the post.
Completely different games, Zoo, and the Bulls suck. You're talking about the Lakers, the greatest team ever, arguably, besides Michael
Magic
Jordan.
Johnson to feed him in the post.
Not
what I'm saying
Magic.
is Kareem relies on a dude. He's in my top five.
You can't.
He's one of the greatest scoring centers of all time. We're comparing bigs, which I'm just not a fan of bigs because they have so many weaknesses. Because most can't shoot, most can't dribble, most can't pass. So those are the fundamentals of basketball: shooting, dribbling, and passing. So
not back in their era, man.
Oh, back in their era. Oh, it's a sad prehistoric era, man. Oh, I got to be big and got to learn a little jump hook, man. Lazy. But I'll give you my top five right now, man. Yeah, it is lazy, man. They didn't work on their game, man. They didn't work on their game. They were just
he played 3 decades, man. He was 41.
Given athleticism, and they learn a little jump hook, man. Big deal. Okay, but I'll give you my top 5 centers of all time. Hakeem and Shaq, easy.
Those are the easies, yeah.
Top 2, man, they would have dominated any era because they actually had some footwork and skills, man. Footwork and skills in their post game. So they got to be my top 2. But then 3, I got to put Kareem in there. 20 years playing basketball, man. He dominated a really bad era. Good for him. He was the best player in the 70s. He also was good in the 80s, too. He still dropped over 20 points, and he was like 30-something years old. So putting up over 20 points a game and playing against it was in Michael Jordan's era, man.
Moses Malone,
some great bigs, man. Even though Lakers Kareem was obviously not the best Kareem past his prime, but he still won a couple of he won a Finals MVP on the Lakers, man. He's dropping like 40 points in the finals, so he was still balling. So that's an easy 3. The last 2, though, man. Bye-bye, Wilt Chamberlain, the Big Dipper. You dominated the 60s. Good for you. You were an athletic freak. You changed the game. His impact on basketball is massive. Props to you. But I got to put in Kevin Garnett.
Oh, my God.
Kevin Garnett is in my top 5, man. Yes, KG could guard all 5 positions of the game. He changed the game with the face-up jumper, man. He was an elite mid-range shooter. Guy was MVP on the Minnesota Timberwolves, one of the worst franchises in NBA history. Led the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, block. He did it all. Elite skill set, elite leader. Led the Boston Celtics on defense, man. Oh, man, he was still good. Okay, I give you that. His playoff performance versus regular season, there was a
huge gap until he got to the Celtics.
He's the opposite of Julian Edelman, man.
Oh, my Lord, man.
I'm just kidding.
Don't bring it.
He's great. He's great.
KG was an elite player.
5?
His impact on a team. Look, what happened when he left the Timberwolves? What happened? They've been abysmal for the last 15 years, I feel like, man.
Because he had to join up with 2 other Hall of Famers. Just like LeBron did. He was the first one to do it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got traded. I'll give you that.
Nobody ever brings that point up. They never bring it up.
He was playing with Latrell Sprewell and Sam Cassell as his best players when he was on that Minnesota Timberwolves roster, man. And he won 50-plus games multiple years in the West.
Let's be honest.
Stop it. Dude, that choked his coach, man. Stop it, man.
Okay, all right.
Oh, my Lord. He was a knucklehead, man. And Stephon Marbury, another knucklehead, man. Bunch of knuckleheads down there in the Timberwolves, man. He didn't have a sane sidekick ever. His best team is probably E.T. Sam Cassell.
Hey, Sam Cassell was a G back in the day.
Oh, my Lord.
He was
Lord.
great.
That was his best team. KG's in there. I'm putting KG in there.
All right,
and obviously I have Tim Duncan. I have Tim Duncan above KG because I think he's the better player with the better career overall. But that is my top 5.
Tim Duncan's better than KG.
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
All right, thank God.
KG's number 5. I just brought up KG because I got to kick out Big Wilt.
Okay, that's fair. You know what? Look, Wilt, I felt like he was going to be the one that was missing from your list. But the fact that you passed up Karl Malone for KG blows my mind, man. I thought of all players, you would have picked Karl Malone, man.
Yes, Karl Malone was the better offensive player. His mid-range game was money. This guy averaged 25 points pretty much his entire career. Guy was 40 years old, putting up 20 and 10. But defensively, KG's impact on the defensive end was massive, especially just seeing that Boston dynasty that they had when they went to multiple finals appearances, man, in their late 30s. This wasn't in their prime when the Miami Heatles joined up when they were 26, 27. These guys were 33, 34. That's when careers usually end, and they were able to dominate a conference. So, man, if they were younger when they joined, they would have been even better. But, yeah, his impact on defensive and offensively, the guy was so skilled, man. The only thing he didn't have was a three-point shot, but all other aspects of the game. He was also a good passer. He's also a good passer. So, yeah. So, he had a lot of guard skills for a big.
That was always the joke, Zoo, because KG would take one. He would miss a 3 badly. He'd take one step inside the 3-point line and he'd just drain it. It was like that one step was a difference for him.
Oh yeah, he never understood that. Never developed the 3-point game. Only the mid range.
But look, Zoo. All right, Karl Malone. I mean, yes, I agree. He's a big man. He needed John Stockton to get him the ball.
Yes.
And but he could have still done it on his own, and I genuinely think he could have, not as well. But
I'm just saying. The 2 bigs with the greatest scoring players ever, Karl Malone and Kareem, had some of the best pure point guards in the history of the game.
True.
Feeding them the ball. I'm just saying their impact on feeding them in the post. It's hard. It's hard to feed a guy in the post.
You got to have somebody get you the ball.
Exactly. You need someone. I feel like KG could be more that he was the primary ball handler on the Timberwolves. He was dominating the ball.
I think nowadays, Zoo, that's a little bit more in effect because you can't be as physical in getting position for yourself as you were able to back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I think Karl Malone was able to clear out more space back then because they just allowed more physicality. Now you have to get a perfect pick and roll going. You got to find the open spot, which is why big men are playing on the perimeter more, partially because the 3-point is just huge now, and I understand that. But look, man, Karl Malone was 34 and then 35 when he played in the finals too. He was not shabby later in his career. He played till he was 41.
Oh, yeah. He is one of the greatest careers of all time.
And he had to play against Michael Jordan, man. I mean, and I get it. KG beat Kobe, and that's impressive. And he beat LeBron, right, on the way, and, Dwight Howard and all that. But he didn't have to play Michael Jordan. And I don't know. I'm surprised you skipped over Karl to put.
Okay, I'll give you the real reason Karl Malone is excluded from my list. He has some off the court issues. If you know about Karl Malone's background, if you ever heard of Karl Malone's issues off the court, it's very mentally disturbing. So off my list, he's not on my list because of that reason.
Fair.
I can't even speak of it of the disgusting items he's been doing off the field. So that's the main reason.
I will say, I think if you switched, or not even switched, but if you had KG with John Stockton, I think the Jazz could have had a chance to win if you switch KG and Malone. I think if you put Malone in Minnesota, I don't think he's doing what KG was doing. I think KG could have been way better with John Stockton because to Zeus' point, he didn't have anybody to like during his younger years in Timberwolves or with the Timberwolves. He had Sprewell, but like he didn't really have any like a point guard like John Stockton. Like in KG's prime years, because when he got to Boston, he was not over the hill, but he was trending that way. I think he could have been way better because I get why Zoo picked KG because KG is way more skilled. I think in today's game, KG could have been.
He would be even better.
He would have expanded his game out to the 3-point range. He would have shot mid range, and he would have been crazy around the rim. I don't see Karl Malone shooting threes. He could get you a mid range shot, but he would have been. You know who Karl Malone would have been in today's game? Lamarcus Aldridge.
He would have been that. No, KG would have been Lamarcus. They're the same build, man. That's a horrible
I don't know if you
comparison.
saw young KG. Young KG could shoot. I saw him shoot.
I don't give a damn about that. Dude, he's not physical. He was just not. He was a great defender and he had length.
He was a great defender.
Karl Malone would have bullied Kevin Garnett. He would have bullied him. And
he would have gave him buckets on the other end too. It would have been even.
That's fine. It would have been like Shaq and Hakeem. It would have been like Shaq and Hakeem. But dude, there was no stopping. Nobody stopped Karl Malone. The only way you could stop him is if you just surprised him. And that's what Michael Jordan did. He would just play the angles on him. You had to be crafty when guarding Karl Malone because he was freaking massive. And yeah, he's an asshole. I think we can all agree about that. But hey, Michael Jordan was an asshole off the court too, man. So
we're not
comparing the two.
It wasn't that tight. Yeah,
sure.
Levels to this, man.
I agree. But the fact, sure. But I'm just saying is that when I'm looking at that, I don't give a damn what you do. I mean, all right, I give a damn what you do off the court. But if I'm picking your top 5 pure playing ability, Karl Malone it should be in your top 5, Zoo. You loved Karl Malone pre all this shit going on and all that, whatever.
Yeah, before I found out the truth, man.
Fair.
Oh man, it scarred
totally
my mind, man.
Yeah,
I love this
a little
game.
scarring.
I was just like, ooh, that's a little disturbing.
I will say this. There's one thing I also just thought about too with the big man argument, like Zoo talks about with the big man argument about them needing a post. I wonder, like, outside of Jordan, who had a more, and like, I mean, LeBron and all that stuff, but like, who had a more dominant run than Shaq? Who had a more dominant run in those 3 to 4? Like, you could argue you have Jordan, but Jordan did it 3 and 3. So we're like, he went 6 years. He went 3 and 3. So who had a more dominant run than Shaq? And that's a big man.
Shaq is the most dominant player of all time, man. I've told besides still say
in terms of the years that he dominated,
LeBron James, the guy went to the NBA Finals for how many years?
Yeah, how many did he win in a row?
I said, okay, LeBron and Jordan excluded. Those are one and two for best players.
Exclude the GOATs, okay.
Who had it's just like Shaq had a run which was like insane. And Shaq is actually one of the big guys who was like not really a stretch guy, who if he was playing today, he would still dominate. Absolutely. It wouldn't matter. Like, he would still dominate. So, I don't know. I mean, he had Kobe, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, early on, dude, young Kobe, though, was just raw.
Yeah, and Shaq won those. Shaq won those. Yeah. He won those finals MVPs.
He took all 3 of them. He took all of them. He took all of them, man. He was so dominant.
Dude, one of the coolest story, though, is when T-Mac and Vince Carter were talking about dominant players, right? And how they were saying, we were petrified to even try and strip Shaq going up because they thought that he would damn near break their wrist
I heard that.
when he was trying. And I'm just sitting here like, damn, all right, that's when you know nobody wants to mess with you, man.
And you got to think LA Shaq, too. I don't even think he probably would have made – he probably wasn't even in the best of shape in LA.
No,
like, if he was in, like, Orlando shape,
he was eating McDonald's, man.
Man, come on, man. Yeah, Shaq was definitely different. So, that was a good discussion about the NBA big man. I don't think we're ever going to always all agree to – who we got in our top 5, but I think we can all agree that Karl Malone is not there. So he is not going to be in my top 5 and anybody else's top 5 soon. But we're going to go to the last topic of the day, and it's more of a smorgasbord of NBA topics. Devastating news for the Denver Nuggets with Jamal Murray going down. I actually saw that live and was just like, man, thinking maybe it's like something like a meniscus or something like he sprained knee, like kind of how Embiid had. And maybe he could come back, but it ended up being a torn ACL. So prayers up to him. And I think they actually signed Austin Rivers. Definitely not Jamal Murray, but that may be able to. Yeah, a wannabe. Jamal Murray, but maybe that'll get them to a space where they can ingratiate him and see if they can get through the playoffs. And Lamarcus Aldridge retired, which came to a surprise to a lot of us. I think he had a regular heartbeat, which is kind of scary because, he could have been in a situation where he could have collapsed at any time on the court. So it was pretty cool that he was able to retire and I think get 15 years in. So, I think I'm always going to remember him as the mid-range king. So I wanted to ask the guys, I guess their thoughts on Jamal Murray and the career of Lamarcus Aldridge. And Zoo, you can go ahead and finish this off, man.
Man, I feel for Denver Nuggets fans, man, because they had a shot this year. They had a shot to win the Western Conference, especially with the injuries with the Lakers and the uncertainty with the Clippers' epic collapse last year. Obviously, Denver Nuggets beat them after them going up 3-1 against them. So, man, we lost the championship contender this year because of this injury, because they're going to be irrelevant without Jamal Murray. Their dominant guard played the big with Jokic, and the guard with Jamal Murray was just such a beautiful fit. You got two legit, I would say all-star caliber players. I consider Jamal Murray an all-star caliber player, man. It is just devastating because the Nuggets, whoever plays the Nuggets, I think it's going to be an easy win. Like, if the healthy Lakers play the Denver Nuggets with just Jokic, like, the second best player is Michael Porter Jr. The kid is too young. The guy still has, I think he has superstar potential because I think he can average like 23, 24 a game when he hits his apex of his talent level, but he's still not there yet. Aaron Gordon obviously was a great addition to that roster, but that dominant guard player that sets the offenses up, hits off shots, especially when the offense gets stagnant, just hits his three with the hand in the face. Like, Michael Porter, like, you need a guard to be the dominant ball handler, and they lost that. So Denver Nuggets, no more title contention for them. So, man, the West just got a lot easier. And with LA retiring, man, Brooklyn Nets lost their starter. Like, I think LA had a lot of game. In a previous pod, we talked about this guy still could get 18 a game if he got enough shots, man. The guy was still balling, man. He could probably average 18 and 9 on like a team that he actually wanted to play for. So obviously losing him, massive loss. Obviously their center position, DeAndre Jordan. I think he's so close to being done. The guy relies on his athleticism, man. And that's the first thing that goes. Zero skill in his game. Zero skill. That's why I don't really respect DeAndre Jordan as a basketball player. He's just a skywalker with no talent, no skill, all talent, athleticism. So, man, losing LA, Brooklyn Nets got weaker. Man. Bro, man. The Brooklyn Nets got weaker, man, but they still got 3 superstars, so I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine in the East. But, man, I feel for the Denver Nuggets people, man, because they had a shot. They
did. And they were hot, man. I mean, they were cooking in the last, 3-4 weeks, man. Honestly, even before that, too. I mean, you hate to see such a young guy who popped off in the bubble. Let's not forget how well Jamal Murray played in the bubble, man. I mean, that was ridiculous. You'd never like to see an ACL injury, man. Zoo, you and I know it very too well.
Ruins careers, man. It ruins careers.
What it can do to a career and hell, even an organization sometimes. So, obviously they still have a currently top two player in the league in Jokic right now, just looking at the MVP races as that comparison. I agree, Zoo. If they end up sitting at that 4 spot and the Lakers are 5, yeah, adios. They're gone in 5
games. It might be
games.
a sweep, man.
It could be a sweep. Unless AD's out, then I think that they could give them 5, maybe 6 games, just being Jokic and LeBron going back and forth. I agree. I think it's too much pressure on MPJ. I don't think that they can ask him. Hell, maybe he steps up, Zoo. We don't know. Maybe he just steps in, and this is actually his time when he comes into his own fully. It's very possible that could happen. So we could see a superstar in the making coming up, or we could see a team that was destined for greatness this year and just had an unfortunate series of events, man. So Lamarcus Aldridge, for me, though, man, he was such a good guy. I mean, he'd had this his entire career, right, Zoo?
06, yeah.
06, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Sean put it perfectly. He's like, he was a mid-range king, man. He pretty much mirrored a Kevin Garnett type of game back then. You could see that he loved to play that just inside the 3-point range. And he even expanded his range out to the 3-point line later in his career. And I mean, mid-30s, he had a hell of a career. Should have been on the Bulls. That was one of the worst trades of all time.
We traded for Tyrese Thomas and Victor Carapa.
Trash can of a move.
Trash can of a move right there. Don't like to see him going out this way. I thought he was going to have a nice little ring chase run with the Nets this year. But maybe if they win it all, they'll still give him a ring as a courtesy.
Yeah.
That'd be really nice of him to do.
Oh, yeah.
Even if just spending like a week or two with them. So hate to see anybody go out that way, but at least he got to play, and he never really got injured massively. I mean, he had some here and there, but he had a hell of a career, man. So I don't think you can look back and be sad about it.
Yeah, he had a great career, man. Pretty much like 15 years. Like he was right there. I feel like he was this close to making the Hall of Fame, but he was a borderline Hall of Famer. But
I agree.
He's right there, but I don't think he's gonna make it. But he had a great career, but not a phenomenal career. But
he's highly above average.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Average. Yeah, this guy's a multi-time All-Star, like 7-time All-Star. Even made the All-NBA team. So he was a really great player, especially on those Portland Trailblazers teams, man. When him and Dame were on, him and Dame and him and Brandon Roy, like Portland had some players, man. Like just most of them just got injured. Like every single one of them. Like Brandon Roy, Greg Oden, like all of them got injured. So it's just like I feel like, man, Portland's like cursed or something, man.
They could have had KD.
Yeah, they could have had. What did I say about bigs? This is why I discriminate against bigs, man. Bigs have less skill, objectively.
This is not the year to bring it up.
A higher risk of injury.
This is not the year to bring it up when the top 2 MVP candidates are both big men. So you can't bring that up this year. This is the only year you can't shit on big men.
Oh, no, because the big men this year got guard skills. Shooting, passing, ball handling. Yep.
They had to evolve.
I know. Exactly. They evolved. But if you look at the prehistoric centers,
didn't need to.
Like Kendrick Perkins was in the NBA. Okay. That guy has zero skills.
Champion.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn, you damn champion, man. Freaking Deion Waiter's a champion. I don't give a damn about his career.
You know who the most pivotal center was to bring that 3-point? Brad Miller, man. Brad Miller was ahead of his time as a big man.
Oh, yeah, dude. He had a 3-ball, man. Dude, I love
him. He played for the Kings, didn't he?
And the Bulls,
Chicago Bulls, baby. I remember him on the Bulls, the little punk.
So there were some big men that caught on early, and I'll always give them props for that, expanding their game. The last true big man, I think, was really Dwight Howard. I mean, he was really the last solid, true big man.
And he wasn't even that tall.
You can't even put Bynum.
He was like 6'9".
Andrew Bynum could have been, but he just never reached his potential.
He wasn't a piece of garbage. He could play a little.
You know what he did to JJ Barea? You remember what he did to JJ Barea?
He almost knocked him out.
Oh, he almost killed him, man, in a game. Yep.
Yeah. That's the last I feel like we heard of Andrew Bynum when he did that too.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he got traded and he never played again. Yeah. That's what happened, man.
Yep.
I think you know what's crazy too with Portland? Like you think they would have learned with the whole Sam Bowie and Michael Jordan thing, and they still went and drafted Greg Oden. Like I don't know.
Do you know what Greg Oden's comparison was? Bill Russell. That was his NBA comparison. They thought he was going to be an all-time great center on defense, and his defensive impact was going to be that good. But if you go by my philosophy, take the more skilled guy, Kevin Durant, man.
You always
the only one not nobody wanted to draft him, but Kevin Durant was just overlooked because of his size back then. He couldn't even bench his weight. Couldn't bench his weight. I mean, in the NBA, that was a little telling back in 2007, 2008, man. If you were not like big and built big back then, you were not getting looked at unless you were Kevin Garnett, man. That was really the skinniest stud back in the day that was not a guard. And I think that's why Portland just overlooked him. And they had Brandon Roy. I mean, they just thought that they were set, and they just we need a defensive anchor, and that was a horrible call.
Yeah, they had bad luck.
That's worse than Trubisky. That's worse than Trubisky. I finally found one. That's
yeah, probably. Yeah, it definitely is. Kevin Durant, this guy's an MVP, one of the greatest players of all time. Man, he would have set that Portland team on a dynasty run, man. They would have been great. They would have been a great 50-win team every year.
Roy. Even with Brandon Roy getting injured, they still would have killed it back then. Man,
potential KD. I don't know if Dame would have made the team, but they had KD and Dame as a combination. That have mercy, man. Dame Dollar, man. Oh my Lord.
Circling back to Jamal Murray, man. I feel like that it really sucks for Denver Nuggets fans because it's not just a this year injury. I feel like
next year you won't be able to
take
play.
time for him, and then let's say what an ACL is nowadays, maybe 9 months. Like it's still going to take time for him to get his sea legs back and like get in the flow of the offense. So I just feel like I don't know if Denver, because they traded away some assets too. So I don't know if Denver is going to be, once he comes back, like a contender anymore, unless Michael Porter turns into this like supernova type of guy, and he becomes that third, or I guess the second guy, and then Murray could come back as the third guy and maybe make his role a little bit better. But I don't know. It's going to be a lot on Michael Porter. He's got to hit.
I think he needs that though. I think he needs it. I think he kind of needed the force of the hand almost, to just kind of push him to step up, because there's really no other way you're going to continue to progress and try and be a star unless you're thrown into that situation or you force yourself into it yourself. So this is kind of giving him it's kind of almost giving him an edge to prove himself a bit more. And he's got to take advantage, because he was hyped up since high school, man.
Yeah. He's like number one guy. Yeah.
Dude, he's averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds this year, man. As a third option.
As a third.
Chicago Bulls, why'd you pass on this man?
Yeah,
damn my Lord, man.
Damn
what draft was that?
That was the Wendell Carter draft.
No. I thought it was Doug McDermott.
No, Michael Porter Jr. No, that was the Luka Doncic, Marvin Bagley, DeAndre Ayton draft.
Yeah, 2018. He went 14th, man. Bulls got Wendell at 8, I think, or 9,
7,
something like that.
7.
But he had the back
better.
issues, so I mean, come on.
I don't care, 50-50, man. You gotta go for a home run, man.
That's hindsight 2020, Zoo. That's hindsight.
No, it isn't, man. I had MPJ on my draft for day one. Day one, man. I saw him as a light-skinned KD, man. A light-skinned KD with the same game. 6'10", shoot the three. Pretty jump shot. His jump shot was so pretty. You saw it in high school, man. He's shooting 42% from three for his career. Career right now. So he's an elite 3 shooter. Elite 3-point shooter, man. Elite size at 6'10", man. You just knew this guy was gonna be good in this.
Him and Trae Young, I think, played on the same AAU team too.
Yeah, that's silly, man. That's silly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Rip the Nuggets season.
What pick did Trae go?
Trae Young was 5th overall.
I was 5th, you're right.
Yeah, 3rd, 5th.
But yeah, like I said, the back issues, man. That's an area where it's like, okay, if you hear bad knees, whatever. But backs, man, like that's less than 50-50. Like he could have been out of the league, but he ended up working for him. So kudos to him. But we're going to see this natural progression, and maybe he turns into like the number 2 guy and gets Denver to a spot where the following year they could still keep their heads above water. But like I said, prayers up to Jamal Murray, speedy recovery, and salute to Lamarcus Aldridge, because mid-range king, man. He did what he's supposed to do, and I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to honor, if they end up winning, they're going to give him a ring.
You got to,
they better.
You have to.
It's the only reason he went there.
That's Blake too. I think he's Blake. Harden to an extent, even though he's a big part of why they're winning, but.
Harden's guys balling, man. Harden,
they're all balling,
man. Yeah. They still need to play together. They gotta play together. I feel like they gotta.
The East is so bad, man.
I don't know, man.
You're gonna get a first round bye. Like you get to play in the first round. You play the Charlotte Hornets.
You have to play the Bulls.
Or the Atlanta Hawks or the Chicago Bulls, man. That's a 4-0 sweep, man.
Yeah, so
it's the only time you'll ever hear Andy put down his Bulls is when they're having to play 3 Hall of Famers.
God, dude, this team, we can't even beat the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, or the Timberwolves.
Oh, that Timberwolves loss.
But yeah.
Well, like you say, we'll see how the playoffs shake out. Like I say, we're kind of still in the fuzzy area of the NBA season, but the playoffs are right around the corner. And with this play-in, it's going to be a lot of jockeying for position. So we're going to keep you guys posted. We are aware that it is baseball season. If something interesting happens in terms of like a player, maybe a super no-hitter, something crazy, a couple home runs. Not saying we're going to cover it, but it may come into the topic of discussion at the end of a pod. So you guys look out for that if you guys are into baseball. NFL, everything, drafts coming up, all that type of stuff. We're going to be covering that. But as usual, make sure you guys follow us at bullheaded_pod. A lot of great content we put on Instagram daily. Make sure you guys subscribe to our Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor, the whole nine, all those platforms to listen to us. Make sure you subscribe, give us 5 stars on iTunes. And as usual, for me, P. Bush and Zoo, we're out.